Don't trust your children to carry you, a psychologist's warning on aging with strength. As a psychologist who has sat with far too many aging parents, I don't say this lightly. Don't trust your children to carry you as you grow old. I've watched people get emotionally wrecked by the idealized image of family they built in their minds. They believed that blood alone would protect them. That their children, whom they raised, fed, clothed, and loved, would be there when their strength faded, when their joints ached, when their minds began to falter. They assumed that love would be returned in kind. That care would come full circle. But belief is not truth. And sentimentality is a fragile substitute for reality. Let me share with you something brutally honest, the harsh truth about depending on family in old age. Why is it that the very children you sacrificed everything for, those you lifted, taught, supported, can turn away in your most vulnerable moment? Or worse, exploit your trust? Right now, there are thousands of elderly parents sitting alone in sterile care homes. Mothers and fathers with trembling hands, once full of life and purpose, now quietly fading into the background of their children's busy lives. They once built homes, built futures, for them. Where are those children now? Gone. Silent. Unreachable. And here's the bitter truth, children do not owe us love. They do not owe us care. They do not owe us presence. Parenthood, by its very design, is one-sided. You give without expecting return. You sacrifice without applause. You offer your best, often at your own expense. But where danger creeps in is when you fail to accept that asymmetry. When you build your old age around the idea that your children will carry the same burden for you that you once carried for them. That is a fantasy, and a dangerous one. Nature doesn't work that way. And neither does the psyche. I've sat across from too many elders who bet everything on familial love. They ignored building community. They neglected cultivating personal purpose. They abandoned financial sovereignty. And when that fragile net of expectation broke, they fell hard. Let me tell you about one man. Proud. Stoic. A father of two. He gave his children everything: education, down payments, emotional support. He even helped raise their kids. But when his wife died and he asked, just once, for help, for a place to stay as his health declined, they said no. No time. No space. No emotional bandwidth. And it broke him, not just emotionally, but existentially. He couldn't fathom how the very people he would have died for, could turn away. But it wasn't cruelty. It was life. They had their own burdens, their own stories, their own storms. So, does this mean all children will abandon their aging parents? No. Some are fiercely loyal. Some will show up with compassion and grace. Some will rise beautifully to the occasion. But they are the exception, not the rule. And if you build your life around exceptions, you're not planning, you're gambling. So what can you do? You stop gambling and start building, 3 unshakable pillars that will hold you when time tries to erode your strength. Not illusions. Not blind dependence. But true, grounded, personal foundations. Pillar 1, Sovereignty. This is your right, and your responsibility, to remain the author of your life. Sovereignty means holding on to your financial independence, making your own decisions, managing your resources, and never giving up your voice. Too many elders surrender their power too early, thinking old age disqualifies them from autonomy. That's a myth. If your mind still works and your voice still speaks, you fight to stay in control. Let me tell you about a woman, let's call her Elena. She was fierce in her youth. A business owner. A mother of 4. A widow. At 76, she gave her life savings to her daughter, to make things easier. Within a year, she was broke. Not because her daughter was evil, but because she didn't know how to manage money. Elena lost more than finances. She lost her independence. She lost her voice. So I say this clearly, do not hand over your power. Plan your future. Set your boundaries. Speak up. Manage your own money. Age does not equal silence. In fact, aging should sharpen your insight, and deepen your need to express it. Pillar 2, Community. The biggest lie we've swallowed is that family is enough. It isn't. You need people. Not out of duty, but out of genuine connection. You need the woman down the street who checks in on you. The barista who notices when you don't show up. The neighbor who brings soup when you're sick. The elders who thrive most aren't those with the most children. They're the ones with the most connections, the most ties to life itself. They volunteered. They mentored. They joined clubs. They found meaning outside the walls of their living room. Ask yourself, would anyone miss me if I disappeared, not because they're obligated, but because they care? If the answer is yes, then you've built something truly priceless. If not, start now. Pillar 3, Spiritual Strength. And now we arrive at the deepest of them all, meaning. You must have a reason to live that's greater than comfort, greater even than relationships. Something sacred. Something personal. Something that keeps you grounded when the rest of the world moves on. Because the hard truth is this. Even if your body holds up, even if your children stay loyal, even if your community surrounds you, you will still face the darkness. The lonely 3 a.m. hours. The creeping ache of loss. The silent moments of facing your own mortality. And when those moments come, you need something bigger than pain. Call it faith. Call it legacy. Call it creativity. But whatever it is, it must be real. It must matter. I knew a man, 87 years old, who picked up a paintbrush for the first time in his life. Not for money. Not for praise. Just to feel something come alive inside him. He said painting made him feel like time didn't own him. That's the trick. To live so fully that time itself must keep pace with you. Final words of caution, and hope. Stop waiting for your children to save you. We don't live in multi-generational homes anymore. We live in scattered cities, fractured routines, and overburdened lives. Our kids love us, but they're drowning. Don't grip them like a life raft. You'll both go under. Become the lighthouse. Be the rock they look to, not the weight they carry. And if they come to you with love, freely, unasked, embrace it. Not with entitlement, but with gratitude. Because freely given love is far more powerful than expected affection. Closing thoughts, build your future now. So what do you do now? You make a plan. You check your finances. You call your doctor. You make that neighbor a friend. You plant the seeds of community, purpose, and independence, today. Not someday. Not when it's too late. Because you don't want to wait until the phone stops ringing to realize you're alone. And if you're younger, build these pillars now. Because no one escapes aging. And when your turn comes, you'll want to face it with strength, not desperation. Let me leave you with this. Don't trust your children to carry you. Trust yourself to stand tall. Trust your habits to create peace. Trust your choices to guard your future. And if this message resonates, share it, not for clicks or likes, but because somewhere, a father is waiting for a call that will never come, and a mother is sitting by the window, wondering why her daughter hasn't visited in 6 months. They need to hear this. Maybe you do too.